Hey there. Have you ever been on a cruise ship and the cruise ship is going side to side and it's really kind of bumpy and you're trying to get your footing and you find that you're holding on to things in your stateroom so that you don't fall over? Maybe the captain comes over and says, we're in rocky seas or rough seas, so be careful, something to that effect. Well, we're going to talk about how you can anchor yourself when you're in the midst of an emotional storm. And we're going to do that in just one moment. Hi there. Welcome to Stress Talk Live with Marcyline. This is where we help women over 40 to live healthier lives through strategic stress management and solution focused self care. I'm Marcyline Bailey, and I am your host for the evening. I am so glad that you joined me today. Probably, I don't know where you're located, where you're watching. It could be storming where you are. It could be you might be having a snowstorm. It's going to get cold here where I am in southeast Georgia tonight. So if you are somewhere where it's cold and it's snowy, wrap up warm, snuggle up if you can, and stay safe. By all means, stay safe. Today, I wanted to talk to you and share oh, you know what? I always forget this. Well, not always, but let me go back before I get into the meat of our topic. Let me go back and say this. Please like, follow, and subscribe to ML Bailey Consultants on Instagram, Facebook, and YouTube. If you miss the live broadcast, you can always watch a replay on YouTube or Facebook at ML Bailey Consultants. Also, if you'd like to learn more about ML Bailey Consultants, please go to this link. That's where you'll have the opportunity to sign up for our newsletter, as well as to learn about what we do and how we do it. And here is the website. Now, we are revamping our website. The new site has not gone live yet, but I will invite you in the next couple of weeks, next week or so, to take a look at our website. Hopefully, I'll have it up in the next couple of weeks at the latest, at least before the end of the month. So I'd like for you to take a look at that. We're making sure that all of our sites are updated as much as possible. So let's get into the topic. Um, our topic for today is 3 focus steps to find emotional calm and stability amidst the storm. So, how did this come about? Why am I talking about this? Well, I'm talking about this. If you recall last week, I talked about how um, our emotions can, that our emotions we're driven by our emotions. We're human and we have emotions. We're human and emotions are a part of who we are and part of us. We can't get past it. And so I wanted to share how when we are feeling intense emotions or when we're feeling a lot of emotions at one time, how we can remain calm. This is really coming off of um, a 6 month program that I've been in. I've been studying to become a mindfulness meditation teacher. I'm completing the requirements for the certification. This weekend was our last gathering. I'm kind of sad about that. This cohort was really super, and so what I'm talking about and what I'm sharing is to encourage you to be more thoughtful in using mindfulness techniques. Um, Oftentimes, when I hear people talk about mindfulness, they talk about breathing. Well, yeah, I do deep breathing. Or they will say, yes, of, I was mindful while I was reading. Or, well, I went to the beach and I, um, I was lounging on the beach and I was meditating at the same time. Mindfulness is a way of life. I'm just gonna, that's just where I am. Mindfulness is a way of life. It is not something that to really experience the complete benefits, you have to you have to do it all the time. I mean, it's, and I don't want to say it's an act that you do and then you move on. Thank you. It's a way of life. It's a way of being. And so when we talk about being mindful and being using mindfulness in our lives and in our lifestyles, we're talking about it encompassing who we are, our thoughts, our feelings, and our behaviors, our responses, as opposed to our reactions. And so I wanted to use this activity, that what I'm going to share with you today, as a way that you can understand that we can use mindfulness in our lives in a way that you might not have thought of. Does that make sense? I hope so, because we're going to jump into it. I'm talking about how to find emotional calm and stability in amidst the storm of emotions. Um, Emotions come. We are human, as I said before, and emotions we're always experiencing emotions. Now, those emotions can be intense, or they can be very light. They can be pleasant, or they can cause us to have increased stress and anxiety. So either way, we want to be able to um, know how to manage those in a way that fits us, and fits our lifestyle. So, what I'm going to share with you today is really an activity that comes from my positive psychology toolkit. And this activity, I think, is something that anybody can do. It's fairly simple. It takes some thought, and it also takes practice. It's not something that you can do just one time and be able to do it spontaneously. That's really the goal. You want to be able to do this activity spontaneously. It's almost like, well, when you're living a mindful lifestyle, your actions are spontaneous. You don't have to think, okay, I need to respond and not react. Or, okay, I need to just be quiet and let it sit. It's natural. It's natural. So, with this activity, it is, again, you have to practice it in order for it to be spontaneous, in order for it to be part of what you do when you need it. It's also something that I share with women or men who come to me for therapy, especially when they have difficulty managing their emotions. I take them through this activity, I send them home to practice, and when they come back, we do it again. We go over it again together. So there are three parts to this activity, and I'm going to get into those three parts, but I want to give you a little background as to where it comes from and what it's about. Um, so, as you all know, one of the modalities that I use in my private practice is cognitive behavioral therapy. And this is basically where we look at the thoughts that you're having, because in cognitive behavioral therapy, we believe that your basic beliefs, your core beliefs, initiate thoughts, and your thoughts initiate action. So we always look at that triangle or that circle: beliefs, thoughts, actions, or beliefs, thoughts, behaviors. And but we focus really on thoughts. We try to help you to identify thoughts, especially um, if they're the thoughts that just pop into your head. You may not even know you had those thoughts, and then you have a feeling, right? You have an emotion. But we help you to identify those thoughts. And then in cognitive behavioral therapy, we then help you or try to um, encourage you to change the thought. We do a lot of reframing. We do a work. We ask you or work with you to look at that thought in a different way, or to look at that belief in a different way. So we're trying to change how you view the thought, or the content of your thought processes, the content of your thought patterns. Okay. This exercise really comes from an extension of cognitive behavioral therapy. There is a modality that's called acceptance and commitment therapy. Now, acceptance and commitment therapy is very similar to cognitive behavioral therapy. The difference is that instead of trying to encourage you to the um, change the content of your thoughts, or reframe those thoughts, or change your thought patterns, in acceptance and commitment therapy, we encourage you to recognize the thoughts, as we do in cognitive behavioral therapy, but we don't try to get you to change them. We don't try to get you to change the content. What we're trying to do is get you to change the relationship you have with those thoughts and those feelings. And in turn, that will help to alleviate suffering. Now, if you've heard me talk about suffering in the past, you know that there is a connection to mindfulness, because the Buddha says that the lack of peace is suffering. And I know you've heard me say that before. So when we have thoughts where we're ruminating on certain things, we're obsessed with certain things, and we can't get these thoughts out of our head, and they're causing us pain, that's suffering. That is suffering. So with acceptance and commitment therapy, or ACT, the idea again is not to change the thought or reframe it or get you to look at it differently. The idea is for you to change your relationship with that thought. So, so I know I just wanted to give you some background on this this tool that I'm sharing with you, these three steps that I'm sharing with you. This tool is called Dropping Anchor. And again, it's part of my toolbox, my positive psychology toolbox. And it is a acceptance and commitment therapy tool as well. And so when I teach this, I also teach that the idea behind it is to help individuals ground, feel grounded. Now, if you're standing or if you're sitting, I'd like for you to just put your feet flat on the floor. And the floor represents the ground, right? But when you're standing, your feet are flat on the floor, it's not rocky, it's not wavy, it's solid. And your feet, you can push into the floor as hard as you can, but it doesn't move. That's what grounding is. It's being able to stand firmly, whether that's physically on the floor or whether that's emotionally. We can be tossed, we can go up and down in terms of our mood. Our emotions can be positive or negative, and they can change. But being grounded means that there is a stability. It doesn't change very much, or it doesn't go to extremes. It's just modulated. Okay, so we want to modulate our emotions. So when we're dropping anchor, we're actually grounding. We're grounding ourselves so that we're not being swept away, so to speak, whenever we're experiencing challenging emotions. So I'd like to go over the 3 steps. The 3 steps of dropping anchor. And I know all of you know what an anchor is, right? Okay, let's pull up this question. One moment. Hi, Belinda. It's good to see you. Dropping anchor. Yeah, grounding is like centering yourself. Yes, it's like centering yourself. I like to use the word grounding because it's I can use a number of illustrations. Just like I said, with your feet flat on the ground or on the floor doesn't move. It's firm, and it's helpful. When I can say that. Centering, I think for me, is just a little harder to describe. Also, sometimes I work with people who um, may view centering as being confident in themselves when they don't feel confident in themselves. So if I talk about centering, um, they may have some feelings about that because they don't have confidence in themselves. But for the most part, most people are pretty sure about the ground. They're pretty sure about the floor, unless there's an earthquake. Um, they're pretty sure. So, but yes, grounding is like centering. It's uh, being able to withstand changes, and also not being like a twig that blows in the wind, but being like a maple tree that stands strong. I hope that answers the question. So let's get to the 3 steps. The first step in dropping the anchor is to acknowledge your emotional state. So sometimes people have trouble doing this, right? Because we're growing up, we may not have been allowed to express how we were feeling, or express our displeasure or express um, what we were feeling, right? So we want to be able, and so because we weren't able to express it, we suppressed, we held it down. But we want to start by acknowledging our emotional state. And when we acknowledge our emotional state, we're talking about our thoughts. What are we thinking? What's in there? What are we thinking? Also, what are we feeling? How do we feel? Are we sad? Are we happy? Are we joyful? Are we anguished? Are we angry? What are we feeling? Third, memories. Sometimes we have memories that create thoughts that also contribute to feelings. When I'm sitting on my cushion meditating in the morning, sometimes I have feelings that arise. And instead of trying to block those feelings out or change those feelings, or I'll have memories that will arise, instead of trying to block all of that out, I am taught to sit, acknowledge it, and then release it. Basically, this is the process as well. I'm doing that while I'm doing mindfulness meditation, but this dropping the anchor is something that we can do. It's very similar when we're at work, when we're in the kitchen, when we're dealing with our children, when we're on the road driving to the grocery store and somebody cuts us off. We acknowledge our emotional state. What am I feeling? What am I thinking? Do I have memories that are triggering feelings or thoughts? And what sensations am I experiencing? Are my muscles tightened? Is my stomach feeling butterflies? Acknowledging our emotional state. That's the first step. The second step in dropping anchor is to recognize that when we are experiencing emotions, when we're having feelings and emotions, we are also having a physical reaction. I always talk about how stress is a physical reaction to an unspecified stimulus. Emotions are a stimulus that trigger a physical reaction within us. So when we are feeling an emotion, we're going to feel it in our bodies. We're not accustomed to recognizing those feelings, though. And so what we want to do is come back to our bodies. Now, with this particular tool, the dropping anchor tool, one of the ways to come back to the body is to, as I said earlier, press your feet firmly into the ground or into the floor. Just press them into the floor. Feel the earth beneath your feet. It doesn't move. It's there to hold you up. You can also sit on a stool or a hard chair. I'm sitting on a stool right now, and I'm actually actively trying to feel the firmness of the stool on my bottom. It holds me up. It's a way to ground me, center me. We can also press our hands into our thighs. Okay? We can roll our shoulders. That's a way. And finally, we can also take very deep, slow, intentional breaths. Whatever works for you in the moment, but you want to remind yourself that you're coming back to your body, you're feeling your body, but your body is grounded. It's sturdy. It's supported. It has something to lean on, okay, and to use. It's not just the emotion that's out here somewhere, but it is real and it's firm. Next, after we have acknowledged our emotional state and we've come back to the body, we are going to re-engage in the environment. As you know, emotions can be overwhelming and it takes us out of the space that we're in, because sometimes it will take us to memories. Sometimes it will take us back to painful events in our lives. But we can then, once we come back to our body, we can do that again, pressing firmly in the ground, taking deep breaths. We can again re-engage in the environment. The way to do that is to use a mindfulness technique. First, just notice, we're just going to notice 5 things in the environment that you can see. So I'm looking at my lamp, my curtains, my computer, my camera, the door. That's 4. My microphone, 5. Then notice 4 things that you can hear. I hear the traffic. I hear the sound of my computer. I hear a truck. I have a clock, but it doesn't make a sound. But you get the idea. Then notice 3 things that you can touch or feel. I can feel my desk. I can feel my mouse. I can feel my top. Feel my hair. And then just notice the thoughts, feelings, memories, and notice your body, how your body feels as well. This is how you, again, you're not changing the thought, you're not changing the feelings, but you're changing your relationship with it. This is called dropping the anchor. As I said previously, I shared this activity with women, my clients, male clients, my female clients who come to me who are experiencing emotions and they're having difficulty managing those emotions. Now, for someone who has experienced trauma and are having a range of emotions due to memories of trauma, I may not use this particular activity. So I want to say that I would do something different if they are experiencing traumatic memories. Like a shift in focus. A shift in focus, yeah, it's a shift. It's a shift in what you're focusing on. However, Belinda, it's really changing the relationship too. I want to stress that, because sometimes when we're having emotions, we are so locked into the emotion that we dwell on the emotion, we add to it, we expand it, and it becomes very overwhelming. When we can make this shift in focus, which is very similar to what we do in mindfulness, meditation, and living a mindful lifestyle, we can acknowledge the emotion, we can acknowledge the feeling, and we can let it go. We don't have to hold on to it. We don't have to um, we don't have to babysit it. We don't have to massage it. We can let it go, knowing that it doesn't change it, but it changes us. It changes how we relate to it. And that's the shift we make. So it is a shift, but I think it's a more profound shift in a sense. So thank you for that. Thank you for those questions. So we are starting the new year off with a bang. There's a lot that I have that I'd like to share with you. Again, if you're watching this on the replay, please drop your comments in the comment section. I want to hear what you're saying about Stress Talk Live and the content. Thank you. Thank you. I'm glad that makes sense. I want to hear what you have to say. I want feedback so that I know that I am sharing what is helpful to you and helpful to others. So we'll be here next week, same time. Also, check out our Facebook page. We and our YouTube page. We're changing things. We are updating. So I'd like to get some feedback about that as well. For now, see you next week. And as always, take good care.